Welcome to Adults Only Comedy Berlin. Today we have Sid Singh. Hello, Sid.
Hello.
The classic Sid hello.
I was I was just expecting a longer intro. I don't know why.
It's really short. I should have a jingle. I should say something about you, but I just prefer to go straight into natural conversation.
Well, I love this too. I just you before the episode started, you went, okay, so I'm gonna do my intro first. I didn't realize you meant, I'm gonna do like 5 seconds of words and then we're starting.
Like not even like 2.5 seconds. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to the podcast. Yes. I wanted to record with you when we were in Barcelona, but then I got busy and now you're back in Berlin.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
I do think we have that weird relationship where it's like, we'll get to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we've been friends now since, when was the first time we met? In it was 2020, October 2020.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Barcelona, and then back here.
And we'll probably be in each other's line. Like, it's weird to think about it, but
I
we'll
feel
probably
like
be, yeah.
I feel like we're gonna know each other for a very, very long time.
We're both lifers, you know?
We are. And Clubhouse as well. There was someone last night at the show who was like, "You're Sid from Clubhouse."
I know. And my response was, huh?
Who are you?
I feel like I responded so poorly to someone very kindly recognizing me, and I was like, nah, that's not me.
But you started Clubhouse, was it because I was like, get on it, or you were already on it but floating around British circles?
I don't even remember.
I don't remember.
I think that was a part of the pandemic where everyone was just so bored.
Oh man, I remember us doing you did my show. Was it my show?
I think so, yeah.
You did my online show for like a fundraiser, and you had to whisper your set because you were having this really tense living situation with your family members, and it gave me so much joy because I'd been having such a hard time with my share house, and you were whispering your set.
And I had to whisper my set at I believe it was 8:30. It wasn't that late.
It wasn't late. It wasn't. And that killed me. Like, I was dying. I think I had to mute myself because it wasn't appropriate, the level of laughter.
No, I think it was one of those times when your laughing made everyone okay to laugh, right? If I'm going to go through the trouble of whispering my set, I want people to hear it as comedy, right?
Yeah.
So I think when you were laughing, it made everyone be like, okay, this isn't like abuse. We can laugh at this, right? This is this is good.
This poor guy.
Yeah.
Oh man, pandemic times. And you've escaped Amsterdam to come from the lockdown there and come to Berlin, right? That's what's happening.
I know. I'm so okay. I live in London now. I went to Amsterdam for a bunch of shows. I did one, and then they immediately announced a very harsh lockdown.
That's pretty much what happened to you when you came to Berlin. You arrived in Berlin, you're like, woo! There was lockdown. Yeah.
And that's why I was so nervous about this time. I was like, oh no, is it going to follow me again?
Yeah. Are you going to bring the lockdown to Berlin as well?
It's very possible.
It is. We've got a couple of weeks. Let's see what happens.
Well, especially because I know for a fact, I think a bunch of comedians are coming here.
Over
the next few weeks.
Yes, from Amsterdam. Yeah, I've got a few comics on my show on Friday and on Sunday, yeah.
And I'm sticking around on Friday. Hint, hint.
Oh, you haven't signed up, buddy? Sorry, dude.
How do I do that?
I've got 35 signups for Friday.
Oh my gosh.
I know. It's so much admin. I hate it.
Well, bump 35 of them. I'm doing my hours.
I don't think so. But you said you had an adults only thing straight off the bat. That was.
Yeah. I had so I'm trying to post more on TikTok and stuff like that to promote
getting your titties out.
Exactly. Everyone says they're very nice. If it wasn't for the rest of me, But so I for some reason scrolled too far up on my videos, and I went to videos from 8, 9, 10 years ago.
That existed? TikTok existed 10 years ago?
On my phone. The videos on my phone that I would edit into TikTok videos.
Oh, yeah.
I just post stand-up. I don't really post the thing
your titties.
Yeah. Anything, really. And it was such a... To me, it was an adult-only thing because it was that weird feeling when you are looking at yourself as an adult. Technically I was 23, 24.
Wow, that's deep in the... How old are you?
I'm 33.
Yeah, you're 33. So 10 years ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's one, you're man, this stand-up is terrible.
Oh, it's a stand-up. Yeah.
It's all stand. Those are the only videos I have of myself.
Okay.
and it's all terrible. They're getting laughs on some of them. There's one bomb video I've kept. Because I bombed so hard in it, and like I watched a few seconds of it again today. I was like, "Yep, nope, as bad as I remember."
Oh shit! I've still got the video of my first ever set. My boyfriend at the time filmed it, and I still haven't been able to bring myself to watch it.
Oh yeah, I mean, so that's the thing. It was like that weird thing where like you're like, "Oh, he has nothing to say." Not really. I mean, there were some interesting ideas there, but he didn't know. I didn't know.
Wow,
how to,
that's how deep psychologically you've disconnected from yourself.
It's that really weird thing where you're like, oh man, this young comic has no idea what the heck he's doing. Mm-hmm. Much better looking than who we became, though. You know what I mean? Like, there's a part of you where you're like,
really? You thought I'm interested to watch myself. I think I was fatter actually when I started comedy.
I think it is just. It's not about like, are you fatter or not? I think it's just the youth. You just look at the youth. Even though like we're in our 30s, we're not old, but like just watching someone in their early to mid 20s, you're just like, oh, you look so much younger.
Yeah. I suppose in motion. I don't know. My photos. I don't know.
I do think it's a big difference in motion versus in camera, for sure.
Yeah. Because there's your maturity is in your energy, and that's how you move, I think.
And I was thinking like this. The thing I have to try to remember is I will still have this feeling about my videos now, 10 years from now. And I'm just trying to remember that.
I feel like it might change though. Like you might be a little bit more gentle and more forgiving and more loving of your 20-year-old self.
Well, especially because like I some of those jokes I've done since, but I just know how to do them now.
Yeah. Well, my problem is I started comedy when I was 31. I started comedy at 31, so I'm not going to have any videos of me in my fresh 20s.
Right. Sure.
But
I started right at 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
So jealous. That's it's like for me when I meet 18-year-old comics at the moment, I'm just like, ugh. Like, I hate your confidence. Like, I never even conceived doing stand-up until I hit 30, you know?
See, I don't know. I look back and I go, I wonder what it would have been like if I had just started 5 years later. You know? Because it's not like I got anything in those first 7-8 years, right?
Absolutely you did. Come on.
Like, I learned how to do stand-up. That's a huge thing.
Yeah, that's massive.
But, like, that would have always been there.
Yeah.
Versus like worrying about this industry that was not going to notice me for a long, long time later. And ultimately, like, you know, we've talked about this before, but in my career, I've always been, I was going to say blessed. Yikes. Yikes. I've always been very lucky that, you know, I've never gotten industry attention. I've always gotten comedians to vouch for me and put me in stuff. And I guess we count as the industry, but you know, it's a very specific thing of like my peers have been like, I want him to write on my television show.
Yeah.
So that is luck, but it's also one of those things where you're like, oh, I know, but I would go to these showcases and just like do well and nothing would happen. And it's like, why beat yourself up at like 23 when you could have just, I don't know, been getting drunk at a bar after work with your friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think it's, to have had that for that long. And I suppose maybe beating yourself up in your 20s. Yeah, it's like how many people who get into stand-up who are that young, you know, actually get industry. Like, it's just such a small, you know, you need so much time to get good enough to get any kind of feet up. Yeah,
that's what's interesting about London. I live in London now, and London seems to be the rare exception. London actively looks for young comics to promote.
Really?
They have competitions literally designed for it. They have this thing called So You Think You're Funny.
So You Think You're Funny.
Which is within your first 2 years of stand-up. And the top 5 or 10 are all on television.
Yeah.
Same thing with the BBC New Comedy.
I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't think it's great for them in the long run for a lot of them. But I also think that, like, to some extent it helps if you can get a little bit from it. Because then they're pot committed to you and they try to promote you for a little bit longer. Yeah,
and then you're going to take it seriously. I think the issue is when you get into comedy and you don't see how you can get ahead. And so you don't take it seriously and you don't work on your writing or you don't see it as a full-time job because it's like, well, I'm not going to be making money.
Yeah.
No, yeah. But hold on. So you seen this video of yourself in your camera roll as you were posting things on TikTok. Like, yeah, it's just a maturity thing. That's why it connected for you. Yeah, that's funny. I had
Like I'm doing a 30-minute set, and I so obviously do not have 30 minutes. Like in my head, I did. In my head, I absolutely. I remember that. I still remember that show, and I remember being like, "Wow, I didn't even get to all my jokes."
Wow.
Right? But now rewatching it, I'm like, oh, good. They were terrible.
Oh man, it gets my goat when I had there's these newer comedians and they're like, why am I not on your show yet? And I'm like, it's a showcase.
Yeah.
You know, for example. And they're like, yeah, well, how many minutes do I need? I'm like, well, it's for experienced comedians and it's a 15-minute, set. And they're like, I've got at least an hour of material. It's like, dude, you don't have 5,
Yeah.
and I'm not being a dick. It's that you don't gig regularly and you're not, like you've got 2 jokes that hit. And that's great, but you certainly don't have 15 minutes.
It is just a rite of passage to have a conversation with a young comic who just assumes they have way more time than
have
they
an
do.
hour. It's just like, oh my God, that's hilarious. Like, you've written that many pages of notes. Yes, but like, dude.
Even that's probably generous.
Yeah.
You think you could write that many pages of notes one day.
Yeah, right? I have an hour. I had 2 young comics. Very sassy young things.
Yeah.
And it's just like, whoa, you were so I wish I had your confidence. Like, it's misguided, it's naive, but and me seeing these 18-year-old comics come through, and it's just like, wow, like, I don't want to make it about gender politics, but there's a part of me that's just like, there was just no part of, like, I wonder how many women, I think there are younger female comics coming up and through, but like, for me, my generation, like,
it is nuts how many female comics are better than their male counterparts, but don't ask for the spots in anywhere near the same volume.
Oh, the way that like as soon as I started producing, the way that men would contact me directly for spots, and it would be like, dude, the rules are on the event.
Sure.
It applies the same to everybody. Not a female would never. I just never had a woman be like, hey, can I have a spot? Well, there's one woman who does tend to ask for things a lot very easily. And I have an issue with, I just have an issue with people asking for special treatment.
But I'll tell you, I bet you that person gets it, and they should. Like,
and they do. This is the person. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
I'm aware. But of our off-mic conversations, I could tell. But like, I'll change the city
Please.
to help you. I know for a fact, like, in London, it's really hard to find female comics. For every show, I would ask like 8 or 9. Well, there's so many of them, but. Because
availability,
people in London
though,
do try to actually book female comics more than other cities.
Yep.
I'm not saying a lot. I'm saying more than other cities. Just to be clear. A lot of times, like if we had a dropout, and I'm like, oh, let's get a female comic to replace them. It's like, okay, well, unless you're gonna go dig into the open mic circuit, like
Yes.
a lot of the gigging ones already have.
They're
gigs.
booked.
Yeah, they're booked.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's also how it works in the German scene here.
Oh.
They're desperate for female comics. Like, I had 2 German male hosts beg me to get into stand-up in German because they're just like, we need more females doing German comics. Like, we need, like, and you will rise very quickly, once just because they're looking for that, they're looking to place, the female quota is what it's called.
They want to be able to sell more tickets, and it's easier to sell more tickets when your lineup is diverse.
Totally.
Right? But it's just that thing where, like, I know, because I'm not a big comic. Well, sorry, I didn't even mean in like self-deprecating way. I just mean in the sense of like, you know how I pick my openers? They ask, and I go, sure. And I've gotten some criticism recently because people go, well, why would this or that person open? And I'm like, it's because they asked, and I said yes.
Yeah.
And you know what? They probably did just as well as the person criticizing them for getting that spot would have done. So what do I care? Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Opening for big comics. Yeah. I recently had a German comedian put my name forward to a German agent who was apparently booking the opener for Eliza. Mm-hmm. She ended up going with no opener, so I guess not. I was like, yeah. but that like that's like, you know, but getting your name put forward is already like, wow, cool, that's wow. But yeah, like asking, you know, that's the next thing. Like I do need to ask for some help, I think, you know, like, hey, you know, maybe an article getting written about my shows would be really helpful, you know, because I produce a bunch of stuff. Or maybe, you know, just getting a little bit of, maybe get verified on Instagram. That would be cool.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, there's so many small things that people in the industry can help you get that aren't big deals, but they just feel so validating.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. All right, let's move on to sex stuff.
Yeah. Enough comedy minutia. Yeah. Well, to me, it was part of it also because like I was watching that set of mine, and I was like, so many of the jokes were like, dating sucks. Like, because what else do 20-year-olds have to talk about, really? You know.
But same with 30-year-olds. Come on, like unless you start, you know, you decide to get a like sign a contract and pop out some offspring, like dating or my kids suck. My husband, my wife sucks.
The trajectory seems to be in your early 20s. The jokes are like, no one will date me, and then it's like, oh man, the people who date me suck, and then
totally
the next phase is like, oh man, now we have a kid.
Yeah, that was a mistake. Yeah, that is. Although, you know, I guess in Berlin, I think in lots of places the dating thing continues way up into the 40s. Right?
Oh yeah.
Like there's a lot of.
Do you feel like, in Berlin, when does dating become serious in Berlin? Like, what are the rules for that?
What do you mean by becoming serious?
Like, I feel like whenever I talk to people in Berlin about Berlin dating, it feels very much like, yeah, you know, no one is serious about it. Polyamory is a huge thing here. Like, those stereotypes are much of, like, no one settles down. So, like, how long do you have to be casually dating someone in Berlin before you can start to be like, hey, maybe this is serious now or whatever?
Yeah, I think, obviously it depends. Like, there's a whole bunch of people here who are very conservative new expats, you know what I mean? So that just doesn't apply to them at all.
Sure.
You know, you get people straight out of Eastern Europe or Turkey or... even just like really, you know, pretty standard people out of England or whatever, Australia. But then you do get a lot of people who are here for the polyamory, and you get the Germans on both sides of those coins as well. Right. So it's like dating. It's like it depends on, you know, if you're dating a musician in Berlin, I would expect to be dating them, which is like casually having sex with them and occasionally spending more time with them outside of the bedroom, for at least like. And like partying with them, let's say, I would say you'd be doing that for a couple of months before there was any chat of, so are we something? Right. And that something is probably still not exclusive. Right. Maybe. I'd say a couple of months. But if you're dating someone that's, I don't know, maybe in IT or well, that's it really. That's the only other people that are here. Then I think... yeah, it's also obviously dependent on how intense or crazy they are and how much time you're spending. But yeah, I would say there's usually, and I think this applies to probably, no, I think it's very specific to more progressive cities. I think it's like a couple of months, like 6 weeks to 2 months before there's any chat of what is this? And even like 2 months, that might be early.
Do you have a hierarchy of musicians?
Interesting question. I usually only date guitarists.
Ooh, that's a pretty clear hierarchy. Yeah.
I guess.
By the way, for someone with a drum kit in her room now,
and a bass guitar,
are you trying to be the drummer / bassist for them? Like, what's happening here?
Oh, interesting. I have a bandmate who plays guitar. I play very bad guitar. I've never wanted to be a guitarist because I'm always fucking someone who's better at it. My bandmate is not a great musician. Love you, Toby. He doesn't listen to this. But him and I started jamming together because we both were like, we're self-taught shitty musicians. But we like, musician is even a generous term for us, right?
I just think, like, what if this is his first episode he listens to, and now he's compelled to listen to all the other episodes just to see if you shit talk him in the other ones as well.
You shit, but no, because we have a similar taste. Like, we're both Australian and a similar taste in music and like upbringing. All my good friends in Berlin, funnily enough, are born the same year. It's funny, when I moved to Berlin,
Yeah.
all of my friends became exactly my age and all my lovers became younger.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah, whereas in Australia, all my friends were like, well, it was really varied, but like way more varied. And all my lovers were always older in Australia.
How many of your friends are comics?
In Australia, I was
here.
I'm not counting any comedian in that friendship.
I figured. No, I figured. When you said that they're all the same age as me, I was like, oh, I didn't realize. And then I was like, oh,
No, I'm older than most people in the scene here. Hold on, yeah.
No, please.
Oh, the music thing, yeah. So no, I usually date guitarists. I haven't tried to learn guitar because someone's always been better at it than me. But yeah, Toby and I have a similar kind of education in music and tastes, and we would be making metal music, except that we are shit musicians. That's too hard, you know. So we recorded an album last year, and we're mastering it in January.
Oh wow!
Yeah, the plan is to get it out by the end of Jan.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh wow, that's so cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What a facet of your life I learned.
And we both sing, and and I really got like properly into the drums with him because jamming with a bass and a guitar. It can be a little bit like, it's not as fun. Whereas like when you've got the drum kit in the room, it's like, and I've always wanted to play the drums. So, but yeah, I'm not doing this in order to make room for a guitarist in my life. I think what's happened is, I've got like an old joke about it, but it's just a classic thing. It's like when I was in my 20s, instead of becoming the person I wanted to be, I dated the person I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
And there's a punchline to that, which I won't say, but now I'm a musician, so I don't need to date one. I've brought that into my, like, that musical,
now, is that something you believe, or is that something you hope?
Something I hope, okay?
Yeah,
something
fair
I
enough.
hope,
No,
yeah.
it's very human.
Yeah. But also, like, since I've been playing music, I've still been dating musicians, yes. Although I'm kind of seeing a guy that's absolutely not a musician, which is very exciting.
Tell us more.
He's in IT, and
yeah. So the opposite of music, yeah.
It is the opposite. But also like coding is like languages, right?
By the way, I would love it now if in a year from now I do another episode of this, and it's just you being like, yeah, now I'm really good at fixing computers, you know, because I don't want to date no more IT guys, so.
So I became a coder. I'm making heaps of money now.
I'm real into Java and C++ because
I made my own website. That's hilarious. Oh, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, let's see how it goes. It's very early, just like, nice early getting to know you stuff. But he's the first person, that I've given enough time that's really not been a self-proclaimed, like, I'm a musician or I'm an artist or whatever. Like, he is like, nah, man. Like, he's got a serious job, and he's very good at it, and he's very switched on, and he's very funny. But he's like, not like, oh, this is a joke for you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you should add this to your set list. Like, no.
I never even know what I'm supposed to do when people say that. You know what I mean? Like, I just sort of stare back at them like, hey, sure, man.
Oh, man. Like the last guy I was seeing in summer, he would be like, I got to the point where I was like, stop telling me to do your jokes, dude. Like, am I telling you what burger to cook in your fucking burger shop that you work at?
No, so I am, I think, the rare male comic who experiences one facet of what female comics experience, which is I get a lot of matches from women who want to try stand-up comedy.
Oh, I fucking hate it so. Like, I'm so quick at narrowing that shit off, though. Like, narrowing, like, what is it? Like, triaging. Like, it's very, very quickly clear to me if someone has matched with me on a dating app because they're interested in doing comedy. Like, it's...
What are your signs? So I've been shocked every time. Shocked is a weird word.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, I've been surprised every time.
Oh, it's like, if they want to talk comedy straight away, I'm like...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a good clear
sign.
It's
a pretty good clue.
I thought you meant like you would look at their Bumble profile and be like, oh, there's a microphone, or I don't know, like, he's posing like Steve Martin, I can tell.
Well, that's a turn on. Only if he's wearing like Egyptian garb. But unfortunately, it has taken like a few first dates for me to realize. Right. And it's usually the comment of like, yeah, I've always wanted to try it. And then I'm like,
especially if you're a man, you're like, man, there's truly nothing stopping you from doing it. So
right. Yeah. But on top of that, it's just like, like I don't. Yeah, I had one date last year where this guy was just like, when they're too interested in talking about comedy and how to get into it and how I got into it and all, it's just like, dude, this is I should be charging for this. Like, I'm giving you like a tutorial into how to get into stand up right now.
No, see, I worry that I go the other way sometimes, where because stand up is such a weirdly big part of my life. Sometimes I'm like, I guess I have to talk about it, right? Like what? Like
definitely, but on the first date, it's. I think it should be like going deep into how you started it is not like
right. Sure. No, yeah. There's definitely a line where you can tell they're looking about open mic signups and stuff like that.
Like they've got their list of questions that are not organically based on an interest in you.
Right. And I'll take it. Some of them are very attractive.
None of them have been attractive enough for me to be like, let's just do this. Yeah.
There was this. It was this really funny thing where this open micer in London was an American male model.
Okay.
And it was very much a thing where he was not good at comedy. But his first joke I found hilarious. Because he talked about how all the comics will hate him because of how handsome he is.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And it's just one of those things.
Great way to get people on side.
And it was an open mic, so it was half the audience were comics. To me, it just made me laugh so hard.
Yeah.
Because he meant it in a silly way.
Yeah.
He made it come true. And then he would bomb for the rest of his set. But I was like, but that first line, I'll give him that.
That's so, yeah. There's
my point
I've
being,
seen that before.
If you had gone on a date with him, he would have been attractive enough, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure. A male model.
There you go.
Yeah, a lot of substance there.
It's a real Zoolander and Barrow situation.
Oh man, fucking comedians though. What was the last time you did that as a mistake? As a mistake, it's always a mistake,
yeah,
right?
It's always a mistake. Yeah.
When was because I made a solid rule and I've stuck to it, and that was in 2020. It was like from then on, I was like, no.
Well, it's weird. So when I first started comedy, I had this hard and fast rule: no way, no how, would never.
When you started?
When I started, I was like, we're all colleagues.
Me too, but that was because I had a boyfriend.
And then, what ended up happening was a lot of comics started dating around me, right? And at first you're like, oh, well, they already broke up and it's weird and it's awkward and now he can't do the same open mic she hosts or whatever. And you're like, so validating for my decision.
Yeah.
But then the longer you're in it, the more you're like, oh, but they're still together. Oh, that kind of works.
Yeah, totally. And there's some really successful comedian couples.
Moshe Kasher and Natasha Leggero, right? I think they're like the number one.
Who are they?
Two American comics.
What are they called?
Moshe Kasher and Natasha Leggero.
Natasha Leggero and Moshe Kasher has a podcast.
They have a podcast, yeah. That might even be the title.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, no, I guess it's not.
And like Tom and Christina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also definitely a thing where like I was in New York and I was like, oh, I would never. And then I moved to San Francisco, and I was like, maybe I will. And the female comic population, they were very clear, nope. The one person I asked out.
Okay. Yeah.
I also think, do you have a different rule or a different perception of like stand-ups versus improvisers? Like, would you ever date an improviser? Because I feel like there's no way you would ever respect an improviser.
I'm not gonna not respect, but it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's like calling yourself a comedian when you don't do stand-up is a bit of a struggle for me. Like I struggle to respect that, I guess.
Well, like what about if they did sketch? Because I think you would respect sketch.
Sketch I would respect.
So
yes,
really,
sketch,
of the three
yes.
types of comedy, you would really only not respect improv.
It depends on how charming.
Sure.
And personality, and I'd be open. I'm not. I don't close any doors until they say.
Unless they ask you for a suggestion, then you're
exactly.
like, I'm out.
Exactly. Like if that had any, crossover into the bedroom, I'd just be like, get the fuck out of here. No. But I've never.
Can I get a suggestion of anywhere at all that you would like me to put it? Yeah.
In your own mouth. But no, I've never. Yeah, no improv, no. And then Yes, no, I've been very good. I've been very good. But like, I'm not close to comedians. I like if it just turned out that it happened, okay. But I think it's a good starting rule of like, you'd need to be really clear that it was a good move.
But see, for the record, my thing was the opposite. I was like, I could never date a stand-up because we're colleagues and we're all so similar. I was like, improvisers, of course. Yeah, you could date those. Yeah, like totally.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They're so different.
They are so different. And I think, like how many serious... Well, I guess you knew very serious improvisers.
Yeah.
Whereas that's one of my criticisms. It's just like... No one's becoming a famous improviser in Berlin. You know what I mean?
Although good news, though, just like the stand-up ladies of San Francisco, the improvisers of New York also not interested in Sid Singh.
Aww, but...
Swinging a miss.
Singing a miss.
Singing a miss.
Oh. But you've been... You had a date. You had a date this week. You did.
That was Anna feeling so bad for me that she felt the need to be like, no, actually, he dated someone quite recently.
Yeah, you've had a follow-up date and a promise to a third date.
Well, who knows?
Well, technically a second date because the first time you just met, but yeah.
It is interesting too. Like, it's just so different. Like versus like the lockdown dating when it was just walks.
Oh my god, lockdown dating.
And back in Amsterdam, I met a very lovely lady, and we just went on several walking dates, and it was like, all right. It's either walking dates or illegal parties.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I had a boyfriend during the first lockdown in Berlin, and we went on a walk, and then we basically it was a very successful fast date. It was just and then we kissed, and then we went to his house, and then we didn't have to go in for any more walks. Like we could just go to each other's house, and that was great.
See, I think I'm in a weird position as a traveling comedian. Is it's like so much of my ability to make money on the tour is I can crash with other comedians.
Yes.
Right, but often that means I'm like sleeping on an air mattress on the living room or on a couch or whatever.
Yes.
All places you cannot take a date back to.
Absolutely not.
So it has to be like their place, and some women, understandably, are like, I don't really want him to come back to my place.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah, it was like there's a touring comic. Well, from a female here at the moment, and she went on a date on New Year's Eve, and she was like, she didn't feel comfortable going back to the guy's place because it's just like,
Yeah. No. Yeah.
It's like it could be very, but going back to a guy's place versus bringing a guy back, like I would actually feel. I don't know. It's a bit like, I don't know, bringing a guy back is, I am going to be, I don't know anymore.
You know what it is? Okay, wait. I think I can spell it out. It's how it's clingy versus creepy, right?
Yes.
If someone is creepy, you don't want to go back to their place. If someone is clingy, you don't want them to come to your place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to have to kick them, like you want them to know when to leave.
Yeah.
But... Yeah, going back to his place, it's like, am I gonna get chained up and become a story in the newspaper? Yeah,
please.
Yeah,
you think you'd be good enough to be in the newspaper?
I think so.
Fair enough.
Don't put that out there. Jesus.
Yeah. Too mean. Sid Singh, king of the slams.
No, but it's like don't put that into the universe of like, let's see if she's good enough to get written about in the newspaper.
Man, that would be the meanest version of a hippie. He's just putting mean things into the universe. Like that's, hey man, I believe in energies, and that's why I fuck with people.
Yeah, no, I was I've been developing this joke and I end up researching the concept of manifestation, like manifesting what you want, and then one of the Google searches was, is manifesting a sin? And so I gotta click on that.
Yeah, of course.
And obviously it's just like, well, if what you want to manifest is a sin, then it's a sin.
Oh.
Of course, you retard. Wow.
I mean, what was your childhood like? Because I went to Catholic school.
I chose to go to a Catholic high school.
It's the same. I went to a Catholic high school.
But I chose it. My parents were not. Well, my parents were brought up Catholic, but not. They were like atheist or agnostic. And
I was gonna say, what is Australia like for religion?
It's pretty Christian, but it's chill Christian. It's like we say Christmas instead of Happy Solstice, and like we have the holidays.
Wait, what? I was expecting you to say something very different. By the way, in America, it's we say Christmas, not Happy Holidays, not Happy Solstice. That I don't even know.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. I guess that's
Solstice is more Christian.
I think no, Happy Solstice is less Christian.
Okay.
It's like pagan, though.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And then like so it's like not happy holiday. Well, it is more happy holidays now, but growing up it was more like Merry Christmas. But yeah, I grew up absolutely atheist. Went to this Christian school, Catholic school. The first school I wanted to go to wouldn't let me in because I wasn't Catholic enough.
Weird.
And I was like, damn. And Melbourne, it was called Star of the Sea. Sluts of the Sea was its nickname.
Okay.
Yep. And then I ended up going to this other school called Presentation College Windsor, which was really cheap. My dad was very happy I chose that school. He's like, you can go wherever you want. And I was like, this one. And they were very open-minded, and they taught like all the religions, and we had lots of different religious groups there. But it did have a chapel. We went to church every week, and we would read prayers, and there was communion and all that stuff. Yeah.
For us, it was very different. I went to Catholic school just because it was the choice that wasn't like I grew up around a lot of public schools that had a lot of gangs, so it was just like, oh, go to this private school, and it happens to be Catholic.
Yeah. This was like the cheapest private school option, but my parents didn't know. Like
because I wasn't Catholic, I had to test into it, so it was like like technically everyone has to take the test, but like out of 100. If you're Catholic, you can get in with like a 40 or 30 or something like that.
Nice.
And for people like me, I think I had to get like a 97 or anything above a 90, but I think I got like a 97 or something just to get into this.
My school was not elitist in any way. It was like it was just the poor Catholic school, but
yeah,
I wanted to go there because my best friend was going there, and it was actually very good. Like it was if you wanted to do well, you could do well at that school, but people weren't like bright stars, competing. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that was the thing is I went to the school that was, despite having to test so highly just to get in, not known for its academics at all.
That's funny.
We were really an athletic school, which is very weird.
Ah.
Like we have alumni who have since I think the number one beach volleyball player, Carrie Walsh, was an alumni.
Like for a sport.
Tell her gold medals. My favorite thing is that she donated a beach volleyball court to the school, and they were kind of just very clear, like, what the fuck do we?
What are we?
We're in a landlocked part of California. Where where do we put this?
That's hilarious.
So we just like for like 5 years, I think, just had a beach volleyball court like off to the side, like in a field, and
that's great.
Then eventually
like
got
fake
rid of it.
Sand.
Yeah, fake sand, and yeah. She made a lot of money, so she donated it.
A well thought out donation.
Yeah. We had NBA players as well. I mean, a lot of people like go to college on college athletic scholarships. So like,
okay.
Yeah,
that was obviously not our vibes, huh?
You're talking to number one mixed doubles badminton.
Oh, really?
Varsity.
Oh, you are.
Yeah.
You are such a badminton player.
And indoor badminton, so it was cool. People hit very hard.
Yeah. Badminton was heaps of fun. I liked that. That was one of the sports I liked.
Oh, yeah.
I hated sports.
I think I surprised a lot of people. I love sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay. A bit surprising. You've got it, because you studied law.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that's surprising.
You think so? You think law and sport is the different? No, yeah. Well, in sport, law and sport have a lot of overlap because of so many alpha bros that try to go to law school.
Yeah, I suppose it just like for me in my head, it's like to do law, you need to study so much, so that usually cuts into the athletic time.
Oh yeah, I mean that's why they watch the sport; they don't play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But a lot of type A's find ways to make it work.
Type A's find ways to like alphas.
Yeah, or just like type A personalities. You know, you have that.
What's a type A personality?
It's just like someone who has to be first in everything, super organized, like very like in shape. I guess you could call them alphas, but they would never classify themselves as that necessarily.
Oh, really?
Or they wouldn't. Not all of them would. But yeah, it's like the kind of person who wants to finish first, who wants to get everything done like early and
early. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, all right. I was like, maybe I can relate. And I was like, no, not really.
And law school's full of them.
Yeah. I'm really glad I didn't go.
I mean, I was so lucky that I feel like I really flipped a lot of the stereotypes on its head because I was the chubby little Indian boy and I was getting all of my notes from like the pretty law students who are type A because I had to do comedy every night. I didn't have time to read any of that stuff. Like,
oh man, fuck! Imagine doing comedy at uni. Fuck, I wish I'd done that.
And people were like, "Well, see, because mine was technically post uni, right? Because it's a doctorate program in America. So like, I was this like 27-year-old who had already done comedy for 6 or 7 years by the time I started law school, And most of the law students I was friends with were like 24, 25. So like not that much younger, but young enough that it was just very different.
Yeah. And they probably had more parental support.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I went back to finish my last year. Like I graduated, but then I went back to do the like the crossover year so that you can do a master's basically. And I went back and did that when I was 25.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was living out of home and everyone else around me was like 21.
Right.
And I was 25 and they were still at home and it was, yeah.
It's a
Weird.
big difference.
It's massive. It was.
Yeah.
I felt so old compared to them, and it was only 4 years.
Oh yeah. It's really that difference of like, have you had to pay bills yet or not?
Yeah, totally.
And that changes your whole perspective on life. Yeah.
Totally. But I was even doing that in my undergrad. Like I moved out of home when I was in my first year, and I was like paying my own rent and doing all of that stuff myself for my last 2 years of my degree, and yeah, the number of people that were just. Anyway.
I realized one of my weird privileges is that if someone tells me they've been paying bills for whatever, I always, like for like 7 years, I still always assumed they started at 22 because there's so many people I knew that went to college. So like to me, going to university was the norm.
Yeah.
Like it was more a question of like going to a great university is not the norm, but going to a university is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
assuming that everyone's gone to university. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas
So,
go on.
But I met a girl recently who was like,
But Europe is way different as well, right? Like,
well, I don't know. Is it like way different in terms of how people go to college or not?
people just spend way more time at university, and usually when they're at university,
Right.
they're not supporting themselves,
Right. Well,
and they're still living, out of their parents' pocket.
Mine was the inverse. I met someone who had been paying bills for 4 years. And so I just naturally assumed they were 26, 27. So one day we're like, oh, I'm 22. I was like, what?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
That's so young. Yeah.
I can relate to that. All right, so we got into very adult topics in terms of like maturity and bill paying. So
Yeah.
Jesus, we got a little bit onto the dating thing
And time. We also discussed the most adult topic of all, the passage of time.
There was the dating stuff. I don't know. What's the longest relationship you've had? This is random. I was having this chat recently with the guy that I've been.
So technically 2 years. I would never really count that though because it was so on again, off again. So I would even say that like honestly, probably not longer than a few months. Like I've been doing comedy for the last 13 years, and I didn't really start dating until honestly, mostly after college. So like. For me, it's like because I've been moving around so much, it's never really been anything longer than that.
Yeah, you've been moving around that much, really?
Yeah, so I spent my first year and a half of comedy, 2 years of comedy was in San Diego, and then I went to New York for 4 years, and then LA for 1 year, then San Francisco for 3 years, then London for a few months. Then Amsterdam for 6 months, then London again for 6 months, then tour. Yeah, it's been.
Okay, yeah, that's all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel very stable compared to you now.
Well, because you've been in Berlin for almost a decade now, right?
No, 6 years. That's not almost a decade.
Halfway through. Yeah, I was about half off. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 years. 6 years, and like in like 2 weeks it'll be 6 years exactly. So. 6 years, and then before that was just Melbourne. So I've been pretty stable. So I was chatting to this guy in bed. It was so nice to have a New Year's Day with somebody. I was like, that was like best New Year's I've had in so long. Just to have someone. That's not like a oh, it shouldn't be happening.
Oh yeah. Okay, sure. Did you bring him to the party?
No, we met up at the next bar. So we did karaoke, and then I went to another bar.
You went to another bar?
Yeah, I went to Space Medusa.
Oh, I should have gone.
You should have come. Yeah. Well, the thing is, we were driving with Shahak, and he was like, "I'm going to McDonald's," and I was like, "I'll come," and then I'm going to go to a party in Neukölln. And then as we were driving towards McDonald's, I was like, "Space Medusa," and Daniel LL was with us, and I was like, "All right, this is bad." And then we parked the car, and all three of us went into Space Medusa.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
then a bunch of other comics were there, and
nice.
And that was when the boy that I've been seeing messaged me, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have a person on New Year's Day.
Is that the guy I met the last time I was in Berlin?
Yes.
Oh,
You're one of the few people that have met him. Yes.
Oh, yeah, very nice boy.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Fuck, that's crazy.
You know what?
Not many people have met him.
Well, let me tell you. And I'll tell the entire listenership this, he might be 14, but he's a great guy, And I don't approve of what you do to that boy, but I know he appreciates it, so.
His parents haven't complained yet. He's 27. Yeah.
27 is actually not that crazy of an age, right? Yeah.
It is 8 years though. Like, yeah, it comes up a little bit.
But I think like the mid 30s to late 20s is still like a very acceptable.
Yeah. It is.
Especially because that's like. So I would argue that that's that weird part of your life where you're either actively fighting the becoming 40 mature life, or you're like trying to get there early. You know what I mean? Like, so some people are basically 40 by the time they're 28, and other people aren't 40 until they're like 47 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I kind of think when you're dating in that range, like it's way more less age based and more like life outlook.
Well, I felt, and I agree. And the thing is, when like sometimes we've talked about it, it comes up. It's like, oh, when I was this age, you were this age, and like he didn't. Like he was born the year that I think Kurt Cobain died, but he didn't know about, he,
right.
like the
it would be
the
weird
Gulf
if he did.
War.
Yeah.
Like all these things, like Monica Lewinsky, the things that I've lived through. But we'll have these conversations, but then in all of the other and like we laugh at this, but then in all our other conversations, the age doesn't feel.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel relevant. It doesn't feel like it. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's affecting our, how we're living or how we see things, and there's no point where he's like, oh well, from my experience, it's like this and this, and it's like, I have 8 more years experience. Like, at no point
Sure.
have I had to pull rank or it felt like, dude, you're like, why are you minimizing my
Oh, that's so interesting.
outlook?
For me, it's the other way. Or I've dated some people younger, and I've actively been like, oh no, they're so much better at this than me. This is so embarrassing. Like, I mean, and like in really sweet ways too. Like I remember, I got like a hotel breakfast with this girl, and with two different women.
Hold on, like you slept together and then in the morning you had breakfast
Yeah,
together?
we had breakfast,
okay,
right?
Yeah, cool.
So like I remember one
It wasn't
girl.
like, let's go on a date and go to a hotel for breakfast.
Yeah.
No.
Which if you could sneak in and get in for free a lot of times. There's a place in New York I used to.
All you can eat, babe.
And also just say the phrase room 307 a bunch of times in your head just to get it.
So you did this with two separate women.
Two separate women, and one of them I just remember being like, because the most hotels they have like a buffet thing going for breakfast, right? And I just like put whatever it looks continental breakfast, and I put whatever looks good on my plate and I eat it, often one at a time.
Really?
Yeah. Like if I get like a croissant and jam, I'll put the jam on the croissant, right? Or whatever. Okay. But like if I get bacon and a croissant and some cheese, I'm not thinking sandwich.
Okay.
And she was, and I just remember being like, this is somehow overly impressive to me, because I'm like, just the patience of like
making her own sandwich.
I grew up without a lot of money, so to me buffets are like, dude, bro, you eat as much of this shit as you can as quickly as possible. So I don't do that now. So like my maturity is now I just eat what I want to eat, but I don't put everything together. I'm still like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Whereas you were like, wow, that's genius.
So mature the way she's patiently making a sandwich instead of like,
instead of just eating all the separate things.
Yeah, just making a sandwich in your mouth,
Yeah, making a sandwich in your mouth.
And then a different girl I went out. It just sounds crazy. This sounds like I would never thought I would ever be the guy who was like, and then a different girl I slept with,
and then we had this hotel breakfast. Yeah.
Made me food from the hotel thing, and I was also just like very touched. I was like,
so she put it together for you.
She put it together for me, and it took a while, and I just remember thinking like, wow,
that's sweet. That's sweet.
She was like, this is a delicacy in this city, so I thought I'd make it for you. And I was like, that's very, it's very lovely.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
And both of these women were younger than you.
One of them was like only slightly younger than me, like
Okay.
1 or 2 years, and then one of them was like more like 6 or 7. So the 6 or 7 one was the one who made a sandwich, and I was like, "What? That's crazy!" And the 1 or 2 years was like the one who actually made a dish out of the ingredients they had and handed it to me, and I was like, "That's what?
Wow, that's cool. That's really sweet. That's really sweet.
Yeah. Do you have like so you don't have moments like that with your boyfriend?
With my boyfriend, I don't have. What do you mean?
Sorry. That was the most Berlin response. I feel like immediately you just look like you'd been attacked. You know what I mean? My boyfriend, who are you talking about? Huh?
And I felt myself as well. Maybe one day, but like, who knows, you know? Moments like this moments where I'm like, wow, he's very put together. Like, he's very put together, I guess, in his approach to his job, and like we talked about our New Year's resolutions, and he's very organized and put together.
Right.
But he's also like, he'll party, but he's like very, like strategic and what's the word I'm looking for? Like
Type A, it turns out.
I think
That's what it feels like.
He's a type A,
Yeah.
for sure. And like his language goals for 2020, like he's like, my language goals,
oh my God,
and my work goal, and then my fitness goal, and then my, and it really like compartmentalizes and is structured, and
it's very impressive. I have none of that.
And I'm like, wow, that's cool. Like I am like that, but like, not like that. Yeah.
My maturity is I don't have New Year's Eve resolutions, so I have nothing to feel bad about in 2 weeks. That's it.
That was my mum's. I ended up having this whole fight with my mum because she's like, my New Year's resolution is to be, I shouldn't put the voice on, but I'm going to put the voice on. My New Year's resolution is to be, is to break down, my fear of failure and my perfectionism. And I'm like, that's not quantifiable, Mum.
My favorite thing was I feel like you put on a voice that in your head is much different than your normal voice.
But it's not.
And to me, it's like, Anna, I don't know if you stopped doing the voice or what's going on, but that's the same voice. No, this is my mother's voice. I associate that with age.
She likes to, just a little bit higher in my head. And then she was like, so I'm gonna bake a new recipes, and I'm gonna have less of a fear of failure. And I was like, well, how many recipes are you gonna do? Like, let's quantify this so that you can actually get, by the end of the year, a sense.
So I have to make more fun of you for this because the listener can't tell this, but your body language changes quite a bit when you do your mother, right? Like the way you hunch up your shoulders and the way you squint your face a little bit. But then the voice that comes out is the exact same voice that you were using this whole time.
Oh, come on. I'm talking the lower register here for sure.
Listen, I can't even make fun of you that much. I know that I would do an impression of literally anyone whenever I do it in stand-up, and it's always just a deeper voice. So my mom would just sound weirdly deeper than,
Hey, Sid.
Hey, Sid, I don't know why you do treat your brother better, or whatever.
Yeah, anyway, but it was an ugly conversation in the end because she was like, why are you criticizing my goal setting? I want to be less rigid. So just like you're like, my goal is to have no goals. Yeah, so that way I'm not disappointed in myself.
Well, to me, it's like I have goals. I just don't. The concept of years makes no sense to me.
Thing is, my birthday is towards the end of the year.
Ooh.
And so that way I do usually see it as quite close to, my yearly cycle.
Right.
And so, middle of November, it gives me like a month to really, brew and get the concentrate of what's happened for that year, and then set a new course.
No, that's totally fair. I think I would. Yeah, I'm more likely to have like goals for like, now that I've turned 33, what do I want to accomplish?
Yeah,
versus like a New Year's resolution where I'm like,
but I think they're very
exercise more. Then after 2 weeks, didn't do that one.
Yeah, no. I don't like those ones, but ones that are connected to your yearly development. Yeah, for sure. But mine are quite close. When's your birthday?
August 29th.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That makes you that's not a Leo. No, it's later.
It's a Virgo.
It's a Virgo,
which means as a man, I don't believe in the horoscope. Now, if I was a Leo, totally would believe in it.
Yeah, because you'd be like, I'm a Leo.
I'm a straight up lion. Oh wait, I'm a virgin woman. I don't know if horoscopes are.
Virgo. I dated one Virgo, I think. Yeah. Ben was a Virgo.
I didn't realize how many women
but I don't remember much
look at horoscopes for fun.
I don't look at. Okay, so I look at yearly horoscopes. I started looking at yearly horoscopes.
Okay.
When shit got real bad. Usually I wouldn't.
Yeah.
However, I did grow up with a strong education in astrology, not reading horoscopes, because it's like, that's bullshit. That's some quack at the newspaper who gets paid like $5 a week.
Yeah.
Whereas actual astrology, it was like I found a lot of it seemed to ring really true to me, and I grew up with this like 1970s Linda Goodrum. There was like a Goodrum maybe, sun signs, and then this like love signs. And the love signs book, it would be like woman Scorpio, man Gemini, or man Scorpio, woman Gemini, and it would go through the dynamics of the couples. And the amount of truth that I found in these descriptions of the struggles within the partnership, of the benefits, the compatibilities. I grew up with that, and I believed in it, and I think I still do. But I used to, as soon as I started a relationship, as soon as I found out the horoscope, like the sign, I would have a look. I don't do that anymore, and I've stopped doing that for many years. But the yearly horoscope I looked at, because I looked at the 2020 horoscope.
Mm-hmm.
No, I looked at the 2021 horoscope because 2020 was tough. And my 2021 horoscope was like, you are going to have great success in your field of in your career. You're going to become a leader amongst your peers. You're going to increase your knowledge. You're going to make so much money. And you're really going to get ahead financially. And when it comes to love, there will be no good options for you this year.
I do like the idea that sometimes you're in such a low place that what you really need is the fucking stars or a fortune cookie to make you feel better.
Dude, I've got fortune cookie little things everywhere.
Yeah. Listen, get your validation where you can get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's
seriously.
Like, oh shit, what happened to my career? Oh fuck, I gotta find a biscuit. I gotta find one of them biscuits with words in them. Like, I need a validation.
That cookie's gonna tell me what my next part is. It's gonna give me my direction.
I remember my favorite one was there's a Chinese restaurant called Panda Express in America, and their fortune cookie was like, never forget the wisdom of eating healthy. And I was like, bitch, I'm a Panda Express.
Yeah, that's fucking rude.
That's like someone is like trying to screw over Panda Express and snuck into their fortune cookie. Yes. Like, yeah.
Although could you technically order healthy at Panda Express?
No, I mean, no. I think no.
Okay, everything's like, yeah.
I mean, they technically they have a salad, so I guess you could order only the salad, which no one has ever done. No,
and why would you? You're missing the whole point of Panda Express, I assume.
Yeah.
I had, in my first year of moving to Berlin, there was a Chinese restaurant I would go to, and 2 months apart, I got exactly the same fortune cookie message, but I felt like it was right, and the message was, patience is the remedy for all things. And then, and a month later I got the same, and like I needed that guidance so much, and I got the same one. I was like, I can't like blame the restaurant for having like just this one batch of cookies, because maybe like I'm still being impatient, you know, like I needed to get that message a second time. But I looked at, so with this 2021 horoscope, it said, so no luck, there will be no good love options for you this year. However, at the end of the year, there will be some light moments. Okay. And so
no fatties.
Huh?
Sorry.
What did you say?
I said no fatties.
No fatties. Well, I did have a very fun, September through to December, and I'd say that's like kind of the endish of the year. But then I looked at my horoscope for 2021. It's pretty much exactly the same, but then it says, but at the end of 2022, you will have an extraordinary love relationship. And I'm like, wow, I don't want to get my hopes up. Light moments seemed a lot more safe to look forward to.
Sure.
Putting my hopes on having a fucking extraordinary love relationship is a bit scary.
How would you consider your your year horoscope now that year has ended? How would you rate their accuracy?
100%. like I got ahead in my career. I made money.
Sure.
I took on a bigger venue, and so I produced more shows.
Right.
So the whole
Wait, what did you use? I want to see what mine was.
it's like the browner the yogi, the better. I'm joking. It was just like the first one that looks a bit legit is the one that I went with.
2021 year horoscope.
Yeah, I'll see what 2021. You're looking in the past.
Yeah, so I can review what it was. Yeah.
But that's bad luck, apparently. Obviously.
Well, that year's over either way,
Yeah, but they say that then it like true dickhead astrologists never look at a past horoscope. Why don't we just look at your one?
Yeah, but you know why? Because they're trying to protect their own business.
Exactly. You know it.
I don't believe those motherfuckers.
No, we shouldn't.
Okay, it says this. According to astrology.com.
This is yours
this
for
is mine.
2021?
Yeah.
I didn't use astrology.com, but yes, go for it.
Okay, it says you'll experience a great deal of growth. I did gain weight. I mean, why? As you assess where you are now and where you still wish to go. The year ahead will be filled with opportunities for personal growth, health, happiness, love, friendships, and success. So expect to be quite busy. What a vague.
That's vague. No, don't trust astrology.com. You need to get genuinely. You need to get a yogi, one that's got like an India Today yearly horoscope.
Okay.
Way better. Or Ganesha.
Okay, Ganesha speaks. Well, great. I found that one too.
Okay, do that one.
Virgos. Okay, first of all, though, let me rate that last one. That's why it was bad luck, because it was a waste of my time.
Yes. Spot on.
Virgos may experience many ups and downs during the year. Huh.
Crazy.
Oh, sorry. This is for this year, 2022.
Yeah. You can't go. Yeah,
you can't go back. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Where did they get that from? I might have some ups and downs.
Crazy.
Your popularity may increase this year amongst the people you mingle with. I don't want those people.
May increase.
Yeah. I like this so far. It's almost like this horoscope read the last horoscope and is just now nervous. It's like they can't predict what I'm going to do, but they can't predict they're going to be on my podcast. The results of your hard work may be apparent for you this year if you have been working hard on your fortunes.
Oh,
so,
Jesus. Okay.
If you are a hard worker, you'll know. But if you're not, don't worry about it.
Don't.
It's almost like that's my Asian parents talking about it, right? If you didn't get the sex, you didn't work hard enough.
Yeah.
Whether it be financial pressure or lowered self-esteem issue, you face heavy pressure this year. All right, sure.
Okay.
Stand-up comedy.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
But that's also, but stand-up comedy, that's very specific, yeah.
Hence, you should do your best to keep your finances in order this year, especially between January and September. Most of the year.
But that's the year where, for me, I usually have no love,
Yeah,
apparently.
Sure. Yeah. And I would save a lot of money if I don't go on any dates.
Yeah, right?
In addition, the year 2022...
Because Sid Singh pays. Just put it out there.
Sid Singh pays on a date. Much
Hotel breakfast.
Much to the chagrin of my dates, apparently. In addition, the year 2022 may be a very good year for students who have planned ahead and worked hard.
Students can get fucked.
They stick with it. Because take advantage of the academic preparation you received this year. Taking management courses in a foreign country is a good choice for students this year. What a weirdly specific one that does not apply to me.
Ganesha.
Yeah.
Who's paying you?
In fact, your vigor this year may be high enough to give you a rise in your career. Okay, I'm going to criticize this. It feels like
this is bad. This is very bad.
By an Asian parent to trick their daughter into going to like Berlin and becoming a successful, getting that MBA their parents want them to get.
Yeah, it's an MBA horoscope.
Actually. The following schools are good to go to. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I think Ganesh is not the right one. I don't think this is the best horoscope, actually. I would like to find the one that I used. I want to find the one. Times of India, no. I want to know which one it was. I had a screenshot of the one. Let's just do a quick... I kept the screenshot.
Ooh, I like it. I see, but okay, so the reason I brought this up in the beginning, though, was I didn't realize how many people I've dated are very sheepish about the fact that they look at horoscopes.
Oh, dude, it's super embarrassing. It was Ganesha Speaks for 2021 that gave me that shit.
Oh, and you believe it now after listening to mine?
Let me double check. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Oh, it's pretty bad?
It's pretty bad.
This is what happens when trying to get your advice from a guy whose face is an elephant.
I like elephant. I like a big trunk.
I've always wanted Hinduism to get slightly more popular and racism to die down slightly more so I can make fun of the story of Ganesha because it's an insane story.
They're all insane stories, though, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. All religious stories are
fucking
insane.
Crazy.
The one, the Ganesha one is almost like a sitcom, though.
Really?
Yeah.
You should make it you should totally do it again as a sitcom. You should be the voice.
So the story is that God goes away to hunt, or Shiva in this case, and his wife wants to take a bath.
Yeah, classic.
Classic woman, always bathing. You know what I mean?
All that water use. Yeah.
And because her
Got bills to pay. Yeah.
because her husband's not there, she wants to make sure she feels safe.
Yeah.
So she creates a son to protect her while she takes a bath.
I like this.
So the son is created and born while the dad's away hunting. He comes back to his house, and
I like how the son that she's just born is going to be able to protect her more than she, who can create life.
Yes, exactly.
Can protect
it
herself.
gets so much weirder because then he goes, "Hey, who are you? And may I please get out of my way so I can go into my house?" And he was like, "No, you can't. My mother said no one is allowed inside." And so
so her son stops her husband being able to get back into the house.
Get back inside the house. And they eventually he just won't listen to reason, the kid. So then they go and start fighting. They have a fight. And
like
God is defeated by this kid. That is the power of a mother's love and listening to your mother or something like that. And so then God cheats in order to finally get back into his own freaking house. And tricks the kid and cuts his head off, basically.
Chill.
I'm doing a condensed version of the story.
I like
right?
it though. I like it. Yeah.
And then his wife eventually comes out and goes, "What did you do? That's our kid."
Yeah.
And then God panics and goes, "Wait, that means he was my kid too." What pretty generous reviews on adoption there, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
God panics and looks for the first thing he can find to replace the kid's head. Unlike the kid's head, which is right there.
Yeah.
And instead picks an elephant who was nearby and replaces the kid's head with an elephant's head. And that's why Ganesha has the elephant's head.
I love that.
It is an insane story.
That makes no sense.
But that absolutely feels like a sitcom
But you know what?
episode.
The big question is, did the mother at least feel clean? You know what I mean?
No, she was like, "Ugh, I got to shower after all of this."
And more water
more
just
water.
down the drain. Will she ever learn? Jesus.
It goes the other way. She's so traumatized, she never takes a bath again.
Stinky bit. No. Dude, I just saw my Ganesha's thing. Really? I feel like you just read the starting point. Did you go to in your Ganesha's horoscope, Ganesha Speaks, did you go deep down? You just read the generic starting point. You got to go deep into each we're going to go deep into each category. So
no, I went to go on.
Yeah, so there's there's different parts of it. So the peace and harmony and relationship was where the gold in my 2021 was. But I just saw my for example, in mine it says Scorpio forecast 2022. Scorpios get famous.
Oh.
What? But before that it says be confident, not overconfident. Otherwise you'll fuck it up. But your nature is likely to make you very well known among your circle and peers. Wow, I'd like to think that I'm already known in my circle. Come on, guys. Good to men and women, favorable year, workplace and home, blah, blah, blah. That's boring. Energy in a turmoil may be contagious and says that singles may be in the pursuit to find love and happiness this year. Yeah, okay, that's also very generic.
By the way, I do like that. And if anyone is still listening to us read from the internet, thank you.
Yeah, right. We've really done this for a while.
Talk about being overconfident.
Oh, mate, it's a podcast, you know. It's just words that may not be funny often.
Listen, this podcast is going to go so poorly for me that I'm going to have to go to a foreign country to study business.
I know. But you know what you need to do now. That's great. You've got a path.
Yeah, thank you, Ganesha.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'll assume you mean me when
Of
you
course.
say Ganesha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 You've heard of girls with a horse face? You got that Ganesha face, girl.
Wow.
Huh?
Wow, I love
come
it.
on. Too mean?
Oh,
Come on.
mean.
Mostly just references to names.
But good. I like it. I think I've met Ganesha face people.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Ganesha is the overcomer of obstacles, so you want to have a Ganesha face.
You want to have it get it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I've learned a lot.
Ganesha is like who you would pray to like before like a big test or something. Yeah.
So like before every set.
Yeah, theoretically.
And before every morning, basically. Do you have anything you would like to plug or any last comments?
Yes. I will be doing a tour from Bulgaria all the way to Prague, I believe. And you can get those dates by following Fedor, who's got all the...
Yeah, right. FedorComic.com?
Yeah. Also, I will be filming a TV set in Austria on January the 25th, because this comes out tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'll put it out tomorrow.
So if you're in Vienna, please buy tickets. Also, tell more people about this podcast.
What's the thing in Austria?
It's some Austrian TV thing that they're shooting, and they asked me to do a 20-minute set on.
It's a TV show stand-up performance. That sounded very...
Also, if you're in Romania for some reason, I will be filming for Are You More? So please come to that taping, because from what I understand, there will not be a lot of English speakers in the audience.
Yeah, I hear that.
And one last thing. The British fans of this podcast, I wrote for Comic Relief, which is coming out, I think, next month, or it's either February or March. And they got a lot of famous people on. So know that when you watch it, I had a very tiny bit
in writing those jokes.
My main job was to be in the corner and be like, yes, sir, very funny, sir.
Which you did amazingly, obviously.
Right, yeah. And if you also are in the UK, Muslamic, still on BBC iPlayer. Watch it so that they go, you know what? We should let them finish filming episode 2.
Muslamic?
Yeah, that was the name of the sketch I wrote for
him.
Yeah,
cool.
Also, I think the more smart thing to plug. Sorry, I have so many plugs.
That's good.
Follow me on Instagram at Looking for Sid, or TikTok. I think also at Looking for Sid. Should I have double checked that? Yeah.
Whatevs, mate. I'll find you.
Thank you.
You didn't need to double check it, right? I wanted to do a callback to the horoscope, but I can't think of why. That business school's going to help with your plugging in the future.
What's the weirdest plug you've ever had on the show?
People plugging stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, just like I don't know. I don't think there's any weird plugs.
That could be a weird plug. I'm trying to think of the weirdest one I've ever heard.
I don't think, nah. They're all just shows.
It's mostly shows, right?
Of
some kind, yeah.
Or... I think that was the most interesting because you're plugging TV shows. Like that. Usually people don't do that.
Sure.
Because not many people that I get on have done TV shows.
Yeah, take that. And let me tell you, if you combine all the money I've made from those shows, you wouldn't pay a lot of my rent.
Woo! Writing doesn't pay much.
Except in America, where it pays quite well.
Yes, we need to get jobs over there. All right, well, I'm not going to plug anything because you guys should already just be following me on Instagram. Please, if you don't already, AF Barros, guys. AF Barros. That would be lovely.
Barros.
Yeah. And that was I think doing a lot of astrology was important given that it's 2022. Yeah. So I think we might have been on our computers.
That's a great point. If we could jointly plug one thing real quick, it's Ganesha Speaks.
GaneshaSpeaks.com. Please sponsor me. All right, that has been Adults Only Comedy Berlin. Thanks so much and good night.
Good night.